Well, everyone, it's about that time. The first tournament of the season, the Battle for Atlantis. And we're going to talk about everything we need to know what the Mountaineers are doing in the Bahamas. With that being said, welcome back to the A to Z Poll podcast on Hoops from the Hills. My name is Zachary Siegel, and I'll be your host. Over the next 3 or so days, 8 teams will be competing in a tournament-style matchup in Paradise Island, Bahamas, to determine the winner and claim the battle for Atlantis. Each year this happens. There's the tournament here, and this year the Mountaineers got invited to it. Their first matchup, number 3 Gonzaga. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Uh, we're going to need a minor miracle to win this game, but like I've been saying all year, we can win any game we want. In this tournament, they're going to feature 8 teams. It's going to be West Virginia, Louisville, Indiana, Gonzaga, Oklahoma, Providence, Davidson, and Arizona. Like I mentioned a second ago, we get Gonzaga first overall, and essentially this is how the tournament's going to work. If West Virginia beats Gonzaga, so West Virginia wins on day one, they win tomorrow. 3 games at around 2:30 Eastern time. West Virginia beats Gonzaga, they would move on to play the winner of Louisville versus Indiana. If they were to win that game, they would then play the whatever team comes out of Oklahoma, Providence, Davidson, or Arizona. And obviously, if they win that, they would be the number one team. And they would win the tournament. If they were to lose that first game, they would then play the loser of Louisville, Indiana. And then if they win that, they would go play for the fifth or sixth place team. If they lose that game, they then go back and play for the seventh or eighth place team against whoever would have lost the most between Oklahoma, Providence, Davidson, and Arizona. Featuring a couple Big 12 teams and one former Big 12 team in Oklahoma, there are 3 total ranked teams in this matchup, which obviously does not make it easy, but should be, especially going into the Big 12, a good, tester to see maybe what West Virginia can do. I know we already had that Pitt game, but we bounced back pretty well against Iona, pretty convincing win there. And I'm excited to see what we can do, how we actually look against a team like Gonzaga. A team like Gonzaga that put Baylor in an absolute spin cycle. Look, win or lose, West Virginia will play 3 games. So as I was explaining before, if we lose, it's no elimination. It's 3 matches to determine how you will actually finish, right? So if you lose the first one, the highest you could place is fifth. If you win the first one, the lowest you could place is fourth. So winning that first one is pretty important. Like I said, this isn't going to be easy. Gonzaga is ranked 3rd in the country. They opened their season with a 38-point throttling of number 17 Baylor, which is a great way to put your team on the map. Baylor was higher to start the year, but obviously they went a little lower after getting absolutely destroyed, after letting Gonzaga put up over 100 on them. Which Gonzaga's been doing to almost everybody. They haven't put up less than 80 points this season, including a 113-point performance to UMass Lowell, which I get it. It's UMass Lowell. It's nothing incredible, but 113 points is still a lot of points against any opponent. Look, I've been saying all year to temper expectations, but we're in tournament mode now. I'm fully ready to be hurt again. If West Virginia doesn't come out here fired up, I don't know what else to say. This is our biggest simulation of tournament play, which like obviously we have to get there. But if West Virginia were to make it there, it wouldn't be too crazy to think in a second or third round we're facing a top 3 seed. So again, this is very good, I think, practice and very good gauging to see what we can do. So I'm going to highlight a couple of their top players and how I think that we are going to stack up against them. So. Starting off, there's with Ryan Nembhard. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Just 6-foot guard out of Canada. Doesn't sound very big, but he is averaging nearly a double-double per game with just under 13 points per game and 10 assists per game. He's going to be a huge matchup at the top of the key. It's really going to be, in my opinion, on Javon Small and Tucker DeVries in order to actually handle this. One thing that I do think is good is that Gonzaga is not as obtuse with size as like a Pitt was that really took us for a run. They have a lot of guys who are good at rebounding, crashing the board, but I think we can supplement that with aggressiveness later on. I think putting Javon Small and Tucker DeVries on Ryan Nembhard is a very good way to start this out, considering that this guy's like the quarterback of their team. He's the guy, averaging nearly 10 assists a game. That's the leading mark in Gonzaga. It's going to be very easy for us to lose him, especially since he's only 6 feet tall, and he's also proven he can score from almost anywhere on the court as well. So this guy is going to be real dangerous, and it's going to be really important that we slide and move and stay on our men, or at least keep them in our sights. Uh, Moving on from Ryan Nembert, if we somehow can contain that guy, uh, we got ourselves this guy Graham Ike, something like that. Who's definitely, maybe not definitely, but probably one of their best players. Right, he's standing at 6'9". He handles like a guard. He is leading Gonzaga in both points and rebounds per game with 14.6 and 6.2 respectively. This is the guy that is going to give everybody a fit. We're going to need Eduardo Andre to play his best game of the season, which again, he already played against the 7-footer from Pitt. He should be able to handle himself pretty well, I think, in this situation. I think that giving Eduardo Andre the like, full reign over the middle, especially with his experience and what he does, can be very beneficial. But we're definitely going to need some pretty aggressive supplementary play from Amani Hansberry and Tony Okani. We got out rebounded by UMass and RMU earlier this season, and that is just simply not going to be able to happen if we are going to have, a prayer's chance to beat Gonzaga. Um, Even more important than trying to stifle Ryan Nemmerd will be to put as big of a damper on Graham Ike as we can. Again, he's a 6'9" forward with handles like a guard. He's effectively their athletic Eduardo Andre, who's again going to have to play a very very good game. And finally, the last player that I will highlight is going to be Kali Battle. He matches up really well, in my opinion, with Sencire Harris. Harris has been more of a defensive player anyway, and Battle has been their second leading scorer with 14.2 points a game. Uh, and if Battle can if Harris can kind of handle Battle and out rebound him and sit there and actually you know be an effective defender on him, that would be huge because he's going to have a very tough time if we can take away Kali Battle from the equation, then they're going to have a very tough time penetrating this defense. Look, West Virginia is going to have to play their style. If anybody here reads the Couz's Corner football previews, you know that it's the method to beating a West Virginia sports team is generally pretty one dimensional. And not to say that Darren DeVries doesn't have an actual, have a good scheme or isn't going to be a good coach. I'm just saying that at this point, it's probably more likely that if they can, out rebound us and outshoot us, they're probably going to beat us. And that's honestly with everybody because West Virginia just at this point does not have the chemistry or the shooting efficiency to actually be able to make up for that, right? So at this point, I think that the only way that West Virginia wins is by simply out hustling, out rebounding, and just out shooting them. And part of that is going to come with the chemistry that hopefully we have been building over these last, over this last week or so, and over these first 4 weeks of the season that will hopefully allow us to um, trust in our shots and crash the board more effectively and maybe even follow our shots more. There was a lot of times, especially in the UMass game, that I remember specifically where West Virginia became very hesitant to shoot the ball. And one thing I said last week, and this is completely true, and it rang true this time, is unless we're unless everybody is on, which everyone should be on, there's only a couple players on this team that when they're off are going to be as detrimental because of the depth, right? I talked about putting Amani Hansberry and Toby Okani to help Eduardo Andre on Graham Ike, right? But we have several other players on this team that can also play effective defense. I mean, it's not like Tucker DeVries isn't 6'7", right? That's a pretty effective defender, and with Kali Battle, I said let's put Sencia Harris on him, but he has a slight height disadvantage, and again, that would be a great place for Tucker DeVries to slide right into, considering that they're just going to have a lot of movement. That's one thing that the good teams, and especially at Gonzaga, do is they just move the ball really, really well. Um, if West Virginia, we'll say confident, we'll stay confident on this one. When West Virginia makes it past this, like I said, uh, they will get to play the winner of Louisville versus Indiana. Right now, I believe Indiana is the favorite there, but Louisville has been playing much better this year than previously thought. Coming from the bottom half of the bracket, if West Virginia were to make it past Gonzaga and the winner of Indiana versus Louisville, it seems like the most likely team to come out of that would be Arizona, but a an Oklahoma appearance would not directly shock me either. Um, like I said, West Virginia can beat anyone in the country, especially a team like Gonzaga, who is not very reliant on their size. This is probably one of the better top three matchups that you could ask for as a Mountaineer fan. I think that this is going to be a very good game. Again, it's on at 2:30 tomorrow. I believe it's on ESPN and YouTube TV. And uh, let's uh, let's hope the Mountaineers win it. Then after the games on the first day, they'll play the games on the second day and the games on the third day. Like I said before, all three you play three games until there is a first through 10th place determiner. Um, so even if we do lose the first one, it will still be very very beneficial for us to continue playing hard and continue to maybe try to get that fifth place a finish, which doesn't sound great, but it's better than nothing, right? A first tournament top five finish, I'll take it, even if there are only eight teams. All right, that's going to about wrap it up for this one. Like I said, go out there, cheer hard, and when we beat Gonzaga, we'll be right back here the next week, prepping us for our next matchup. Uh, Again, thanks for tuning in to the A to Z Poll podcast on Hoops from the Hills. You can find us just about on any social media. Go check out Kuz's Corner. Justin Walker, he's the guy who runs this whole channel and guy who runs Kuz's Corner. And go watch some basketball. Go cheer on our Mountaineers. See ya.